This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
There we are.
Hello, everybody. I am Mark, and this is Brian, and we are talking shit. And today we are talking shit with Toby. And I can hear us.
Sorry.
Anyways, we're brought to you by the Deluxe Edition Network, and we're glad to be on their shit. I can't even speak today.
We're happy to be on the network.
Yeah,
we are happy to be on the network.
Yes. And who's the podcast of the month?
The podcast of the month, guys, are Spoil My Movie and World's True Crime. If you haven't been over to the Deluxe Edition Network, get over there and check those two out, as well as many others like Talking Shit. Who we got today, Mark?
We got Toby. Let's bring him in.
What's up?
How you doing, Toby?
Horrible sign when your guest looks like 5 times better than you on camera, right?
Yes, we need a different camera. We already discussed that today.
I can help you guys out as soon as the show's over. I can tell you exactly what to do.
Okay.
I'm just using my phone,
guys. I didn't even think of that. But before we go,
Mark's not allowed to touch his desk, because if he does, it's going to vibrate.
But before we go any further, we got two vets in here. So I wanted to tell the world, or actually who's watching, our 9-10 people now. Today, I got a phone call from my niece, Jillian, and she told me that she signed with the Marine Corps.
Oh, so congratulations.
In August, she gets to go to Paris Island for her boot camp, and I'm so excited for it. I'm
excited for her too. Did you get some crayons for the Marine?
Yeah, I got her some food already. These are good.
Well,
you're gonna want to hold on to this one. This is the good one.
That's delicious.
The funny part is she went there for 4 days a couple months back. I think in November. She went there, and she said she loved the food. I'm like, what the hell? I've never heard anybody say that they love the food.
I know what it was. The Air Force better. That's what they do. They get the Air Force to feed you so that you can come in, sign up for. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because she was at Paris Island too, so it was quite interesting.
Toby, this is right? Like the Air Force has the best food out of all the brands.
Oh no, trust me, I'm very well aware. But who the hell gets the Air Force to feed them during basic? That's not...
Oh no. She didn't go to basic yet. She went to go visit Paris Island.
Yeah, it was a training exercise.
Hall? She's like, oh, this food is great. I'm signing up. Oh, you fucking idiot.
You should have signed up for the Air Force.
No, well, she had 3 picks that she wanted: either the Navy, the Marines, or
the Army.
No, not the Army.
Coast Guard.
She put them Coast Guard. She wanted to do the space one. Yeah.
It's not a real print. It's not a real thing. Yeah,
right. But you had to be in the Air Force, I believe she said, to do it.
Oh my God.
But she signed up, and she's going to do something to do with the national. She's going to do cyber crimes and stuff like that. I don't remember totally what she said.
Oh, sweet. Maybe she can get a job at TikTok when she's done.
Yes. Yeah, she's got to figure out the algorithm, and then once she gets through.
Trust me, she could be a monkey and have that and work the algorithm as well as they do. I mean,
yeah, there's a whole lot of.
We haven't been able to do that yet. We've been doing it off of here, StreamYard. So we're trying to figure out what. Huh?
They're very particular of giving you the code in order to go stream live on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have like, what is it, like 47 followers? We're at like 10.
No, we're at 50.
Number of followers?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I've got two different. I've got my combined account with the wife, and that is, I think that hit 560,000 today. And then I've got my primary account, which is 1.8 million, and we don't have the accessibility for going live through StreamYard or OBS or any of that on ours. But I've got a friend of mine who's, I think, at like, I don't know what Tam is at, but she's much lower. I mean, she's in the double digits of thousands, but she's got it activated for hers. Gotcha. To where she can go live from her computer. I'm like, what?
Yeah, there's something on here that we could use. We tried to do it, but we can't figure out it all yet. So we're just leaving it right there.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my producer to show up and
you should fire him.
Oh yeah, I fired him already. So I mean, but what are you gonna do? He's my son-in-law. He lives here. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, tell him to get his ass moving. All right. Let's start off a few questions anyways. Let's start off with one of yours, Brian, that you wanted to know to start off with. You'd asked how long that him and his wife been together.
Yeah, you and Angel, how long have you guys been together? Mark knows the answer to this. So
no, I know how long they've been married.
Oh,
I know how long they've been married.
Oh, okay.
Because you put that, unless that was an old one that I watched, but I put him on the spot.
Carry the two.
Yep.
We actually met in 1990. We met in 1993. And we went to high school together. We met on the high school swim team. So we've been together for 30 years. I mean, we've known let me rephrase that. We've known each other for 30 years. We didn't even date for the first 4 years that we knew each other.
Gotcha.
She asked me out. I told her no.
Oh, it was you. It was you saying no. Huh?
I said no. Yeah. Can you believe it? Look at this. Look at me. Right? This is a hot piece of ass I'm with right now, and this said no.
So let me ask you a question to go along with that. Then, how long has she had her hairdo, her pink hair? I absolutely love the pink. I love the cut.
Red and black.
Is that where she's at now? Red and black.
Oh, she's been red and black. Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was pink for some reason.
No, it just sometimes it looks pink because she needs to re-dye the red. But she's had, yeah, that's one of my faithfuls. She's a really good friend. I love her daughter, absolutely love her, and I hate kids. So, but she's been with the red and black hair probably, good Lord, probably close to 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you first met her?
What's that?
When you first met her and stuff, what color was her hair?
Dirty blonde, and it was almost all the way down to, it was like halfway down her back, and she always kept it in a super tight French braid. Always.
Huh.
I couldn't even picture that now.
Oh, she was an athlete. Like that's one of the things that help us hit it off is she's a military brat. And I was going into the military, but she's an athlete and I was an athlete, and we just kind of clicked and we became like really good friends very quickly. Yeah,
you said you met, what was it, the swim team?
On the swim team. Yeah.
Swim team.
So the swim team is in Minnesota, the swim team.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
in Minnesota, where it freezes to death.
Oh yeah. It's awesome during that. So of course, obviously the pools, the competition pools are indoors.
Nice.
But coach would always open up the door so that we'd get a fog over the top of the pool and be freezing while we train. And of course the pools, they're not heated. I mean, they are, but I think they keep the water temperature at like 67 degrees or something like that. But yeah, we met on the swim team. The girls swim team has their season first, and then immediately following that is the guys. And so while I'm playing one sport, while I'm playing football, I'm also the swim team manager for the girls swim team, so that I can get in practice for the guys swim team season.
That's definitely not what you were doing. You were definitely checking out those bikinis.
Oh, I wasn't even allowed anywhere near.
Oh,
My coach knew better. He's like, yeah, you can, if I need you, I'll have you go work in the office, but if not, you can go practice in the deep end where the diving boards are. I'm like, okay.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, it's not like here in Florida, they actually heat the pools here for the kids to swim in, and they don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all outside. Ours are outside. That they do the meets are outside.
But the heat comes from the solar system.
Yeah,
it comes from the sun.
No. They actually heat them. They keep them heated.
Yeah, but I thought all they did was literally put out some solar panels and be like,
it could be, pool. But well, that okay. If you count that.
60-something degrees. So you could come down here, swim in our springs that are always a brisk 72, and you'd be happy.
While I lived in Minnesota, I was part of the Polar Bear Club, where every year you'd go and you'd break ice around a dock at a lake, and everybody would jump in and you'd play some beach volleyball and stuff. And I'm a cold weather person. I don't like living where I live now.
Where do you live now?
I'm in North Carolina.
North Kakalaki.
Yeah, I retired out of Fort Bragg in 2014, and my wife didn't. My wife's job position couldn't transfer her to any. There were no openings in Minnesota where we wanted to move back to, and she just had too good of a job. So I was like, all right, well, we'll plant here then. It's really just the summer that I can't stand. The winter and the fall and the spring are nice, but outside that, like starting
at least you get
downhill.
Is it too hot in the summertime in North Carolina for you?
Too hot, too humid.
So you'd hate it in Florida?
Oh,
come on. We have 2 seasons, Brian.
Yes, rainy and hot.
No, you have summer and late summer.
Yeah. I mean, right now it's almost 90 degrees. Well, not right now, but today was almost 90 degrees here.
Yeah, it was
beautiful.
And I'm like, screw that.
70.
That's why I want to leave. Yeah, that's why I want to leave Florida, because I'm tired of this shit.
Yep.
Mark's a big. He's from Michigan, so he wants to go back to Michigan.
I can't go. No, I can't go back to Michigan. The wife won't let me.
I'm telling you.
She says I can go by myself.
Yeah, for the majority of people that were born and raised in the Midwest, like you really do want to either go back there if you move away. Like you think it's going to be great moving away, because I hate the snow. It's the winter weather sucks. Yeah, but guess what? All 3 other seasons suck pretty much everywhere else you go.
Yeah.
So go back, and people like me and the wife, we want to go back, but just we didn't have an opening, and now I have too many animals.
Well, let's. How many animals do you have?
Over 80.
Over 80.
That
definitely got me beat.
We've essentially become a small petting zoo here, because I have a very difficult time telling my wife no. And once we have one type of animal, I'm usually the one that wants to get more of those, and my wife doesn't tell me no.
That reminds me of the TikTok that he did. He was looking at a baby hippo, and it said baby hippo, and there goes his
water
wife.
Puppy.
Yeah, water puppy.
You wanted a new one. Oh, it's a new animal. Let's get one.
Yeah. So we're looking now. We're still looking at mini cows and mini donkeys and things like that to add to the goats, the turkeys, the geese, the ducks, chickens, the dogs, the cats, the turtles, and the house pigs.
So you have over 80 animals. How many live inside? The cats, the dogs,
the pigs,
the house pigs,
and a house chicken. And turtles and a snake. Let's hear. So snake, 2 turtles, so that's 3. And then we're down to 2 dogs now, because we just lost one recently.
Yeah.
So
sorry about that, man.
5. Well, that's okay. We were just biding his time and keeping him comfortable. Plus 3 pigs, that brings us to 8. And then 4 cats, that brings us to 12. So 12.
I got him beat on cats.
One chicken, so that brings us to 13.
13.
I got him beat on cats. So I got 9
you look
cats.
like you would.
I got 9. I got 9 cats, 3 ferrets,
Love it.
3
Brian's
dogs.
like, "God damn it."
That was good. No, I love it. It was
How many
that
ferrets?
piece has to
Huh?
go.
How many ferrets?
3.
Yeah, we used to have a bunch of ferrets.
We have 2 females, 1 male. They're fixed, they're descented, and they're fun as hell, especially when you get them outside. You know, they pop and jump and but every damn time they want to go after my damn chickens.
Yeah.
So,
And
so the animal thing. So we had a small farm here. Let me ask you real quick. How much property are you guys working with out there in North Carolina?
Right now we're at 3 acres, but we're
Okay.
waiting for 20 acres that's adjacent to us to open up.
And you're going to buy that. You're all
That's
over.
the plan is to, yeah.
Okay.
then they're going to open up a zoo.
Listen, I'm
Well-
telling you, we had the little farm. We're on 2.5 acres. My daughter one day says, "Dad, you got to look at these goats." No, I don't want to look at goats. Well, I went and bought a goat, and then I found out you can't buy just the goat. You got to get 2 goats.
Yeah.
And then when
So-
the brother doesn't get sold, and he's the only goat left, you have to go and buy that one too.
So how our goat situation ended up going is the wife wanted to go get goats, and I was fine with it. I was like, yeah, sure. She wanted the dwarf goats. So what we ended up getting was Nigerian dwarf pygmy goat mixes.
Okay.
We went to go look at 2 babies. I was like, we'll go get, fine. They got 2 babies, not a problem. Let's go get these 2 babies. So we show up, and somehow I ended up not paying attention to my wife. And that means that she got grabbed up by the people that own the goats, and we're like, hey, listen, we've got the mom and the daughter, and her older daughter, for these goats. If you want both of them, we'll sell them to you for an extra $50. So my wife, just without asking me, was like, yes. And then she told me, and I was like, okay, so we get all 4 of the goats. I said, this is what we're doing. We're selling the mom and the daughter
Yeah, right.
to somebody else. Like, I'll give them away. I'll bring them to somebody's farm, make sure that they blend it, because we're responsible when it comes to rehoming.
Absolutely.
What we didn't know is that the one boy who they told us was neutered, that he was castrated, was not.
Shit.
His nuts just hadn't dropped yet. And he ended up getting the mom and the mom's oldest daughter pregnant. So then all of a sudden we went from 4 goats to 9 goats. So now we have 9 goats.
Do you goat yoga?
I do not, but the goats try.
Yeah.
If you go out there and sit down or crouch down anywhere in that goat pen, the goats will try to jump up on your back.
I've been there. Trust me. I know. Like I said, my youngest daughter said, "Dad, you got to look at these things." And for some reason, I looked, and that was it. And I was like, "Let's just go look at them." That was my plan. Like, let's just go look at them. We'll pet them. The lady was super nice. She was like, "Yeah, you should come and check them out." And I said, "We'll take 1 goat." And she said, "Sir, it doesn't work that way." I was like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, they're pack animals. They have to go together. I was like,
they're very social animals, and they cannot live alone. And they can, but you'd have to have like a goat and a donkey. You know what I mean? They have to have enough. They have to have their companion animals. They have to have a companion.
I was trying to make our goat a house goat. It did not work at all. The dogs were like, "What the hell is going on?" You know, I had this thing in a little pen, and it pooped everywhere, and the vacuum started filling up real fast. And I was like, "Okay, gotta go build this pen for the goat." And she was like, "Yeah, let's take him back and get his sister." And I was like, "Okay, fine. We're gonna go get the sister." Then I get a phone call like a week later. "Hey, Dad, so the brother didn't get sold, and she said we can have him for 125. I'm out. I'm out. No, I'm out.
Yeah, I'd say if she's not giving him away, then we're not getting him. Like,
well,
if she wants us to take him, she can give him to us.
And I totally made a mistake and didn't say that. I said, "Well, you know, for $75, I'd go get him tomorrow." She texted the lady, "Yeah, I got."
Yeah, that lady just wants to get rid of that goat. If you would have been like, "Hey, if she'll give him to us, we'll come and pick him up right now."
Mhm.
she would have been like, fine, take him.
Yeah. They were fun. They were fun when we had them, but we ended up having to get rid of them, and we rehomed them as well. And they actually went to a little petting zoo, I think, area,
That's
and I thought that
that's how
was
we
really
ended up
neat for them.
with that's how we ended up with our pigs. So the wife got me a pig for Father's Day. Odd gift, but I had always wanted a pig, so I was fine with it. And then she was like, well, they've got a runt there and it's all alone now. And I'm like, son of a bitch, don't you fucking do this to me. And she was just like, she goes,
Look,
well, the thing is it's really super small and I think it's kind of malnourished. I was like, let's go get it. So sure enough, we went to go pick it up, and that's how we ended up with 2 goats. And then she said that she always wanted one that was like had all the spots and calico looking, and saw one a few months ago back in August, and we were like, all right, shit. So now we have 3.
that's the pigs.
Yes.
And are they potbelly pigs?
One is a pot. Well, we're told that the youngest one, which is the one that we've gotten most recently, his name is Paxton. He's got the most nicknames. He goes by Pigbert. He definitely knows his name. His name is Paxton, but my son calls him Pigbert. My wife calls him Little Pig, and I call him the Chubby Chipmunk because he looks like a fat little chipmunk. But we went and picked him up, and the people said that he was a potbellied, and I said that's impossible. And they said, excuse me? I said, potbellies don't have the brown in them. They have black or white, or they can be spotted, but they will not have brown. And she goes, well, excuse me, I think I know what my pig is. I said, yeah, I don't think you do, but I'm still willing to buy him, so it doesn't matter. So we have one that we're even the vet that we brought him to is like, this is not a potbelly. It's a potbelly mix at best,
Okay.
but it's not a potbelly. And then the other one is what's called a coon, and they're the ones that have the little wattles that stick down here.
Okay.
And they're much furrier.
You'll have to do some more videos with the pigs.
Well,
my daughter likes the pig videos.
Yeah,
they're
we used
fantastic.
to get a ton of requests for us to show our animals, but that's the other thing with someplace like TikTok is somewhere around in 2020, they kind of changed things around, and whatever caused your account to blow up, that's it. That's all that you can post if you want TikTok to push it. So we were posting a bunch of videos of everything from the turkeys to the goats to the chickens and the pigs. And people were like, kept saying the same thing. You really should post some, you need to make a video of some of your animals. And we're like, we've been making them. And they're like, well, I haven't seen any. I'm like, well, you haven't seen any on your For You page, but trust me, they exist. It's the one that has 1,100 views wedged in between the 2 videos that have 200,000 views, because it's not anything like what we did that gained our followership, so they don't push it. But yeah, we try to include the pets as much as we can. Like my wife, I think my wife got me blow drying my house chicken.
Yes, I saw it. I loved it. I showed my boss this. He says, "Who are you having on the podcast today?" So I tell him, and the first video that pops up, I load you guys, and it pops up, and that's the video. You're blow drying that chicken. She's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
I was like, "Yeah, watch this one. That's funny."
So there's actually a reason for having to blow dry her. So she's a silky, but she's a special breed of silky. She's what's called a frizzle silky. And what happens is her feathers, they grow same spine as any other feather, but instead of all the feathers growing together and being stuck to each other, they all grow separate. So it looks like fur rather than a feather. And the problem with that is she can't, water doesn't fall off of her like it does a chicken or a duck or anything else. It just absorbs. She gets soaked down and
right,
it just
fluff.
Yeah, and it absorbs. So when she's outside and she's getting soaked because it's raining or whatever, and she doesn't want to come in, because that is my house chicken. If she doesn't want to come in, it's like 45 degrees outside and she can freeze. So when I have to go and grab her, pull her inside, and I have to blow dry her back so that she can warm up properly, because otherwise she'll just sit there and get soaked. She's got no way of drying herself off.
So you got a good amount of chickens then, I take it, because you can't
Oh,
just
yeah.
have one chicken either. So you must be egg rich.
We're absolutely egg rich. I make more money off of eggs than I do on TikTok. I mean,
That's great.
not,
So
not
so
that
you
I
get
make any money off of TikTok, but yeah, if we wanted to sell our eggs, I think we get about 2 dozen a day.
okay. Yeah, we were doing pretty good with eggs there for a while, and my wife just brought it up again. She's like, I don't know, maybe we should get chickens again. Listen, I built the pen the first time. I've done all this, and I don't want to do it again. It's time consuming. So I applaud you for having the time to do the animal thing because I just don't have the time,
Oh, it's
and I don't
ridiculous.
want to put that
See,
responsibility. And I don't want to put that responsibility on somebody else.
That's what a lot of people don't understand either. Is like so we get most of our chickens and like our turkeys and our ducks from a local feed store. We don't go to Tractor Supply because they don't know how to properly ship or
Right.
take care of their birds. So you'll have like a 50% or greater mortality rate within the first 24, 48 hours of most of the chicks that you bring home from Tractor Supply.
Right.
So we've got the place that we get ours from. They put out a schedule and they're like, hey, these are the chicks and the birds that we're going to have on premises on these days. I mean, they open at 9:00. We'll show up at 10:30, and there's people literally walking out with boxes of them. And by the time we walk in, they're like, "Yeah, we just sold the last ones," and I'm like,
Ugh.
and it's ridiculous because these people are buying all these chickens because they think it's going to be cheaper. I'm like, you don't understand what you're getting yourself into.
Soda.
Like that, you might think that you're saving yourself a bunch of money by buying chickens, but you're not thinking of. I mean, don't get me
A
wrong.
feed.
If you want to let them free range, I mean that's what chickens are used to. You don't have to get them feed or anything like that, but you do want to coop them up. You want to have them a place protected away from predators. That can get expensive. Whether you're buying a coop or you're building a coop, you're not going to be really saving much money by building one than you would by purchasing one. Then you're going to want a gated in run area that they can stay safe. So at night they can go in there. You got to make sure that that's fortified, that's not getting, it's just
food dishes, water dishes.
Yeah, it gets ridiculous.
Nesting boxes. Oh yeah, trust me.
And you're doing all this because you're trying to save the $3 that eggs have gone up in price over the last 8 months, and you're not realizing you're spending $150, $200 a month just on keep maintaining these chickens.
But you get some really good eggs.
Yeah, the eggs.
Those eggs are really good.
And we have goose eggs and duck eggs too. So
not had those yet.
Duck. You want duck eggs? Come get some. I have duck eggs.
Oh,
yes.
Boy. Okay.
I have duck eggs. We have one duck left.
Richer in texture. They're a lot richer. It's a different taste, but it's delicious.
They're really good. My uncle, we used to give them to my uncle, and he uses them in cakes and stuff, and it makes the cakes so much better.
Like more moist or something, probably.
Much better for baking. Yeah, duck and goose are much better for baking.
But my son, he hatched the eggs. He put them in an incubator. He did it all, and he still has 5 years later. He still has these chickens and stuff. They're dwindling down a bunch because they're dying off. But we got one of the last batches he did was we did silkies, and we have one left of the silky, and we call it Doofy, and it thinks it's a duck. But all it does is it goes around in circles all day long, just about, and we called it Doofy.
We have one chicken that was raised with 4 of our ducks. We hatched one chicken, and then we hatched 4 ducks, and it grew up with the ducks, and it thinks it's a duck, so we call it Chicken Duck. That's Chicken Duck Joe. And then now we've got 3 of Chicken Duck Joe's babies in the other room here because the wife was like, it's gonna be too cold. They don't have all their feathers. We got to bring them inside. And I'm like, so now they're inside.
I remember those days. That's what this office used to be, was the chicken coop, the baby chicken coop. And you'd come in here and they're just screaming. I'm like, dude, what do you want from me? You want food?
Got a heat lamp, constantly filling up the water, constantly filling up their feed, like giving them the 30% starter crumbles, and you're like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
beep, 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 all damn day, all night.
Well, I applaud you for taking care of so many animals, man. There's a lot of animals out there that don't get treated very well at all. They're used, abused, and thrown out for somebody else to take care of them. So we applaud you and Angel for taking care of those animals. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah.
You were in the military.
Correct.
What branch?
Although there are people that are on social media that are like, this guy's an absolute scam and a fraud. But yeah, I was 20 years. I'm 20 years retired from the United States Army active duty.
Army. Okay, very good. Well, thank you for your service. I did 12 active duty Navy. Did not retire. Wish I would have.
No, I would have spent more time in, but injury forced me into retirement. So.
Well, most people that hit 20 want to go like 23, 24. Yeah, I would do another enlistment and see how it goes.
I was shooting for 24 was my goal.
Right on. What do you mind if I ask what rank you hit?
I was staff sergeant when I retired. I was non-promotable for like the last almost 7 years of my career.
Due to injury?
Due to injury, yeah.
That happens.
Well, the first 3 out of that 6, it was due to the first 2 years out of that 6 was due to a false prognosis of asthma. So they made me non-deployable, which also makes you non-promotable, and for 2 years, and then they lifted it, and then about 6 months later, I got injured.
Damn it, no.
Well, damn it, man.
Yeah.
Well, damn, man, that's hard because I know, when you hit a goal, you hit a milestone. So you hit the 20 and you did get to retire. They didn't do a medical discharge on you. They just did a regular retirement.
They actually did.
Medical discharge?
Yeah. So it was, I got a standard. So it's kind of an odd situation. So first of all, let me start off by saying this. I am not bitter about retiring as a staff sergeant. The only thing that I'm bitter about with that is obviously the retirement pay. 50% of, staff sergeant pay is not very great. But that is what it is. The reason why I'm not bitter about retiring as a staff sergeant, because in my MOS, I was a forward reconnaissance specialist. So I was combat arms the whole 20 years. I was a Cav scout. The staff sergeant position is, like, in my opinion, the best position to have. I conduct all the training. I've got just about the same amount of delegation authority and authority that the platoon sergeant has. But instead of dictating training, I'm leading training. So I'm constantly with the soldier. I'm always with the soldier. I'm the one, if a soldier doesn't know what they're doing, I took personal responsibility to make sure that they did. So that was my job. And I loved working with the lower enlisted. I loved working with the junior NCOs. So that job, that rank was absolutely perfect. I have no qualms about retiring as a staff sergeant and having to be a staff sergeant for, honestly, quite a long period of my career. I think 13 out of my 20 years was a staff sergeant. But so I got injured, and it took a couple of years of surgeries and things like that before they determined, listen, this is not gonna get better. So we're gonna put you through the medical board processing, which I didn't like hearing, because at that point in time I was at 17 years. And like, you're gonna put me out before I get the chance to retire. Like, I'm this close. As we all know, for those of you that aren't aware, the medical board process can take a very long time. Well, about a year, it was a little bit, about a year and a half. Mine went through, and they gave me my rating. It was going to be 80%. But at the time, they had a new program called the continuation of active duty. So if your unit, let's say your first sergeant or your commander or even your sergeant major, if one of them says, listen, this individual can still be useful to the unit and can still fill a need that the unit has, we're still willing to keep it. Meaning they'd allow me to extend to my 20-year mark so that I could retire, but I have to retire within that 20, in between that 20 to 21 year mark. So essentially what happens is they start you back up, and at your 19-year mark, they restart the MEB process, the medical evaluation board process. So you end up getting your discharge is an honorable discharge, military retirement, full retirement. But
Under medical.
But it's no, and that's the
No?
thing. It's not listed under medical.
What?
It's still a full retirement. You just happen to have all of your medical benefits taken care of at the same time. So I wasn't one of the people that retired and then had to get like all of his paperwork together and go and turn it in at the VA and wait for 15 years for the VA to figure out how the fuck that's going to be processed. Mine was all done when I retired. So I got my full retirement and I got my full disability, and I get them both.
Well, that's a good thing because I mean, you think about this, we both served our country, and it like you said, it does take a very, very long time for these folks to look at your records and say, what do you mean you got a hearing issue? When did you get a hearing issue? Well, I don't know. I was an engineer in the Navy. I worked in the engine room. I still have a hearing issue that
I don't know. Let's hear. When did I finish basic? Yeah, right about then.
I mean, I can pass a hearing test, but I still have this ringing in my ears that's never going to go away. So I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah.
They don't want to rate me for it. That's fine.
Well, now they do, from what I understand.
Don't they have that lawsuit going for?
They got me at 0% for tinnitus, and which is the ringing in your ears. And I was talking to a friend of mine who just retired last year, and he goes, "Oh no, that's all changed." He goes, "Since you got out, since I got out in 2014, that has completely changed." So he is begging me. He's begging me to go get my records looked at again, and I'm like, I'd like to, but I just don't feel like it. And he's like, "What?" I was like, I just don't feel like it, man. I'm like, I'm already done with that hassle. I don't want to go through that whole rigmarole and have somebody say that I'm a liar because of I don't think your injury is as bad as you do kind of like thing. That's the one thing I hate about your disability is you're going to have somebody you're doing everything you can just to be taken care of for the sacrifices that you made to your body or your mental health while you were in the military so that you could do the job that you promised the government that you would do. Meanwhile, you've got somebody that's working on behalf of the government, trying to do everything in their power to prevent you from getting these benefits that should be owed to you for doing that job.
And those guys that are trying to prevent that, I think, are the civilian side of it, because I do have a friend of mine that actually is one of those people that look at your record and tell you, hey, listen, this is what I think you need to go and get looked at. I had to go do a sleep study. I get to now wear a sleep apnea mask because evidently I stopped breathing in the middle of the night. I didn't know this. My wife knew it evidently, but
they had
she was trying to keep it a secret.
They had me do a sleep study for because I suffer from insomnia. But the problem is when they send you for sleep studies, they just send you to a sleep study for the same thing. So I got tested for snoring. They're like, you don't snore. I'm like, I'm aware. And they go, but you don't sleep well. I'm like, I'm also aware. They're like, your brain activity is off the charts while you're sleeping. You don't ever fully fall asleep. I said, I know. They go, well, that's not what we're testing here. I'm like, okay, so can we just call it? Can I go home then? And they were like, no, we're going to need you to stay for another night. I'm like, they're like, we really want to study what's going on with you.
So
like,
they'll do
you've
this
already
at your
said
house.
I'm not.
They do it at your house now. So the thing is they sent me the whole equipment. I had to watch a video. You put this stuff on, you these monitors. We're going to monitor you.
You get that whole robotics panel and everything.
You got to put all these stickers all over you. Like my wife, I don't know how this poor woman had to sleep next to me with this machine. I just don't understand it, but God bless her for doing that, for putting up with that. And Monday I get to go and then I get to be a robot forever. So while I'm sleeping. So
nice.
Mark, I'm sorry. I feel like I've been talking with him this entire time.
It's okay. No, hey, you're getting stuff out there that's more than what people know.
That's Richie. That's one of the guys that's on the podcast with me on Tuesdays.
Right on.
Brian, just to let you know that they actually have a lawsuit over the hearing now.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's a hearing plug thing, and they, I had people reach out to me. Hey, did you use these? I'm not going through that. I'm not going to
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
they'd be like, prove to us,
Yeah,
show us the documentation showing that you've
I'm
damaged
not.
your ears while using those ears. I'm like, come on, man. Like you're asking me to bring you up shit from 25 years ago.
Here's what I will do. Here's what I'll do. I'll take you on a Navy vessel when we're out steaming, and I'll let you walk into an engine room with no hearing protection, and we'll just see what happens. If
Yeah,
you come out perfect, you let me know that you came out perfect. If you come out going, huh, huh, then you can tell me what I'm going through. At
yeah.
that point. So that's
My
just one of
favorite,
those
my
things.
favorite was they're like, so you damage so you didn't always wear earplugs. I'm like, I'd like you to tell me at what point in time in the middle of an ambush that I should look at the enemy and be like, hey, hold on for a second.
I gotta put these in.
Hold on. Stupid fucking earplug case.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Okay, fire. Okay, cool. Let's go. Like, I don't have time for that shit. Like,
Yeah. No.
it's like
Yeah.
they always make it seem like the only things bad that can happen to you in the garrison environment. Well, what do you mean you weren't wearing your earplugs? Well, I don't know. I was in fucking Iraq and a mortar dropped down right next to my head while I was walking on patrol. Like,
Yeah.
not sure if you're aware of this, but the movies do a good job of making you understand how loud those fucking things are.
Yep. We can attest to it. So there's two of us here at least right now, and then your niece, Mark. I promise you, will have that same situation years from now. We will have the same conversation about how's your hearing. She's gonna be like, huh?
Well, shit, she's just going to be out in the field sleeping one night, and some asshole's going to throw an artillery sim, and that'll go off, and that's loud enough on its own. And you know what I mean? Like, what was she supposed to do? Throw her earplugs in before?
You're
yeah,
supposed to, right when you go to sleep. You can do it
Yeah.
when you go to sleep, evidently. So you do. So you miss your alarm in the morning when you're supposed to be in formation at 4. So yeah, we're PTing at 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. So let's make sure everybody's there. So
And I'm
so
not trying to give anybody the wrong idea. I absolutely loved my time in the military. I get people ask me all the time, did you
I did
like being
too.
in the military? I'll tell people this all the time. It is both the greatest and the worst 20 years of my life. Without question, the greatest and worst 20 years of my life. I've had some of the best times of my life while I was in the military.
Yep.
And the best way to answer the question, if somebody says, well, what do you miss? I'm like, well, I'll tell you that I'll tell it to you like this. I don't miss the circus, but I certainly miss the monkeys.
Yeah,
that's
I
how
like that. I like that.
my
I
brother,
really like
my brother Chris was in the Marines, and he says the same thing. He doesn't miss he misses being around the people. He
Yeah.
doesn't miss
It's
he
that
doesn't miss
shared
the others.
experience that you have with your fellow soldiers, whether it be men or women or Apache helicopters, whatever kids want to call themselves nowadays. I'm not all on this he, them, they
No.
bullshit. I mean,
No. I
No,
did.
don't get me wrong. Hey, if that's what you want, great. Just do not expect me to bend over backwards, try to figure out what the fuck you're calling yourself the first time we ever meet. That's all I'm
That's
saying.
exactly it.
But it's those shared experiences that you have, whether it be on a deployment or out in the field, or hell, just sitting at the chow hall and talking about a fucked up story that happened over the weekend. It's those shared experiences that you have with your fellow soldiers or your fellow Marines, because the Marine's always a Marine, right? There is no such thing as
That's
a
right.
Marine.
You
That's
can't be a former Marine. You're a Marine.
and yes, yeah. And there's no such, and you don't call a Marine a soldier. So that's
right.
But you've got these shared moments with these other people that you've had throughout your career, and that's what you miss. That's what you never forget.
Yep.
And you
Absolutely.
can say, well, this time that we were in Iraq, great. Who was with you? You're always going to remember those names. Oh, this time that we were out in the field, what was the name of the guy that you're getting ready to tell a story about? You're going to remember that guy's name. You're going to remember that guy's face. That's what you miss.
And you remember that about the guys that even if you didn't serve with them right next to them and they were in another branch or something like that, but you got an opportunity to be on a deployment with them, like that person. Like we had a guy called the Rainmaker. He was a gunny sergeant that was on a ship. He was a Marine on a ship, that took care of the Marines when they had issues. He was, that guy that you went to if you had an issue with a Marine. That's who you're going to go talk to. We called him the Rainmaker because he'd make these guys work out in the berthing where they slept when they pissed him off, or when they pissed off the Navy guys, because look, this right now, this is where we're at. This is what we're going to do. So let's, we're closing doors and we're going to make it rain.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, I think a lot of civilians don't understand this either. People that have never been in the military, been around military people, is I'll fuck with you, right? You're a Marine. I'm retired Army. I'll fuck with you. You'll fuck with me. We'll talk shit about the Coast Guard. But if somebody else that's never served talks shit about the Coast Guard, we'll jump on it. Even though we might agree with you, that's our little brother. That's not your little brother. That's my little brother.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm sorry. Did you guys have more questions? Like, I keep going.
Tons. Yeah, listen, it's your show. If you want to talk about something, let's talk about it. I'm in.
I tell you, I'll get off on tangents in a heartbeat. So hit me up with a question. Let's see what we got.
Now, see, this one was funny. I identify as a meat popsicle. I had to laugh at that one when it came up. I wasn't trying to laugh at what you guys were saying.
Grimlock's too heavy for a popsicle. Grimlock would identify as a meat frozen water balloon.
Okay, well, we're gonna deter off of the military now, because I know that you guys. I know between you two that you probably talk about.
We got stories. Hey, we got stories. We can do this for 3 hours.
All right. Well, the first time I actually, the first person I actually seen on TikTok was you, and of course it was the one. Well, of course you had quite a few of them at that time, but one of them was your wife hitting you with the pan.
Well, that was after my first account.
It was one of the ones, because I know that you had quite a few on there, but you also said that you were just coming back from a suspension or whatever from TikTok because of some snowflakes. Oh, yeah. Why don't you tell everybody what actually happened?
Or are you talking about when my first account got deleted?
Well, yeah. Let's go with your first account, and then we'll go with normally what how many accounts have you had that's been
I've only had 3 deleted. So my very first one that I learned very quickly what the TikTok terms of services were. And I only had that for a week. And then I had what I call my original account, which is, they call me Toby. The day that account hit 80K and 3 million likes, it was deleted by TikTok. So that's when They Call Me Toby 2 was created. And we started kind of we decided that we'd try to change around the content. And I was like, I really want to expand. Everything that I'd done up to that point was pretty much, I had just started getting into making original content. And I think one of the reasons why I got deleted is because a lot of my original content was kind of like lashing out at TikTok for their algorithm changes and the way that they were treating creators. And that's really when the first big boom of like everybody was getting deleted, like for no reason. Just out of nowhere, you'd worry. You'd wake up in the morning and, oh shit, my account's gone. But you'd never gotten a video taken down or anything like that. They were just deleting everybody. So I had made a note of it during a live. I was like, I fucking hope they delete my account. At the time, this was still really early in TikTok, because I started TikTok September of 2018, and TikTok had started August of 2018. And I got real popular real quick. Had a really large following, a great group of people. I'm sure you guys have heard it called Toby's Army. I didn't name it that. They named themselves that. There's no sense I'm fighting the crowd. So I was like, all right, so this is Toby's Army, That's
what we're going with.
And I made the statement once. I was like, I fucking dare TikTok to go ahead and delete me. Not as in saying that you won't do it, but see what the fuck happens. And I started going after TikTok hard. I made a bunch of videos with a with an exercise ball that we called that I had written on it community guidelines, and I would make videos where I'm sitting there talking shit and all of a sudden I get hit with it, or I'm holding it and I'd throw it at somebody across the screen and somebody else would duet it getting smacked by it. I was spoofing what it was like to work at the TikTok headquarters, you know, setting up algorithms and then everything crashing and shit like that. And then one day I got up and I had just hit 80K and I was like, oh, this is awesome. So this is in June of 2019. So we're talking 8 months, 80K. So I was making about 10K a month following up at that point. But I was at 2.8 mil. I was like, I'm gonna make a thank you video when I hit 3 million likes. And about half an hour later, I open up my phone. I see that I've got 3 million likes. I go to make a video. I go to post it. It says that you can't. You know, it was like, oh, there's an error. So I tried to repost it. Still says that there's an error. And I was like, interesting. So I was like, well, I'll just keep it in my drafts and I'll sit there and I went and surfed and I was trying to leave comments on people's videos and it was saying I couldn't, that there was some sort of error. And I'd seen this before. And it was just like a glitch where I'd log out of the account and log back in and then everything was fixed. Well, I go to log out and log back in. It says this account no longer exists. Well, now by that time, I had been permanently live banned back in January on They Call Me Toby, which is why They Call Me Toby 2 was created to begin with. So I had a place that I could go live. And I logged into They Call Me Toby 2. I went to go look for They Call Me Toby. It didn't exist. Could not find it. So I went to an old video that I had duetted with myself. And I clicked on the name that was in the duet and it brought me to the page that you guys see now when it's a blank face and 000 across the board. And it says this account has been deleted for community guideline violations. So I ended up making a video saying, hey guys, I'm just letting you know. I wanted to thank everybody for the 80K and the 3 million likes on TikTok. However, TikTok saw fit to delete my account. I'm fine with it. I'm just letting you guys know that if you want to continue to see my content, we're going to keep creating over here on They Call Me Toby 2. For the next 3 weeks, it was a shitstorm of hashtag bring Toby back, hashtag Toby's Army. It would take me 3 hours to go through my For You page and not see something about it. Somebody posting their duets with me or somebody making a video saying to bring me back. And it was an absolute nightmare. I've got people now that I know work up at TikTok that say they're not allowed to mention my account. They're not allowed to talk about it. I'm like severely hated up there.
The first account, that account that was deleted,
just
yours
me
in general,
just me in general. So, you know, I was like, well, I really liked making that original content, so we're going to keep making that. We did several different types. We did these Polar Pop Cup stitches, and we did a couple of we did what we called the Drunk Toby series, where I'm talking to my drunk self, and my wife can't see it because it's in my head. And I'd end up getting my ass kicked for that by the wife. And then we moved on to the Mirror Fact videos, which you see those all over the place now. People started doing that. And then we started doing the pan hit videos. And the pan hit videos, you know, was the last thing to really take off. And that's what got us up to the 1.8 million. And then it just plateaued from there. It just died. And now that account loses, I think, like 800 followers a day.
Yeah, it's something like, you're committing a
domestic. I'm making
domestic violence.
Making light of domestic violence or glorifying domestic violence.
So dumb.
And if
we
you're
thought
out
it was
there and
so funny,
and you think that way, then get fucked. Because it's comedy.
It was definitely comedy. Then you had to make one to tell people, hey, look, you know, this is fucking fake. You know, squeezing it, hitting it, and all this,
and TikTok took that down.
Yeah.
I mean, is there supposed to be a warning before anybody goes live anywhere anymore? I mean, I don't get it.
I get my live shut down. I'll get it back. I'll have it up for 2 days and it'll go down for another week. I'll get it back for a day. It'll go down for another week. I'll get it back. I'll be live for an hour and it'll get taken down for another week. Like it's become redundant.
So at the end of your live, you just got to say, "Hey, stay tuned. In 2 weeks, we'll be back."
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even that, because it just cuts out. Just I'll be sitting there in the middle of a discussion, and all of a sudden my live will go, you know, say this live has been shut down for community guideline violations.
Wow.
He's got people that don't like him.
You know, that was one of my questions that I wrote down too that I wanted to ask you. How often do you guys go live, you and your wife? And then what do you like about being on live? And what do you not like?
We actually, I for the longest time, recently, I was going live every day with another good friend of mine that I've known since 2018. Met on
Shout out to
B.A. Lewis, 1988. So her name is Britt, but she and I were going live every morning. Unfortunately, I started a new job, so I haven't been able to go live with her. And I think she's kind of missing me because she's messaging me going, "Listen, I just want to know what's going on with your life right now. Like, you haven't talked to me." I'm like, "I'm so sorry." The first week of going back to work is a motherfucker, but I actually like. The problem is TikTok has sucked the creativity and the motivation to be creative out of the wife and I. That's the biggest issue. So we have difficulty. Like, we'll come up with a great idea, we'll set up the camera, and then we just go, "Ugh, you just want to try it tomorrow?" And we're just like, because we won't even start filming. We just don't. We're not motivated anymore. But going live allows me to connect with the same people, or the people that, you know, like the people that you see in here, you know, Grim and Lillette and Richie and these guys, they all come to the live. And I love that interaction. That means more to me than, you know, a video hitting 1 million views is, yeah, great and all, but that's just one-offs of people that just happen to have that push to their For You page. I'm not getting genuine interaction. I like going and telling stories to the audience and getting their input and having them ask questions and having a good time and telling stories. That's the best part of being on social media, is when you get a community that's built itself around you and showing appreciation to them and spending time with them. That's why we host the meetup that we do every year.
That's one of the ways that I got him to, you know, I asked him if he wanted to be on the podcast. He says, "Well, hit me up on Instagram." And that's how I've been trying to get a lot of people to try to get more guests for us to, you know, interview.
We're here to grow this podcast, and we're trying to get that notification, you know, the notoriety and everything out to what we see from you guys too, because of, like, a lot of people that I work with, they were like, "Who are you talking about?" And then the minute I show the video, everybody's on their phone. "Oh my God, I gotta watch more videos." I did that with you. I did that with Jason Banks. I've done that with, I don't know. I mean, there's so many with Landon. Yeah.
Landon Harvey.
And I was like, "Guys, you got to watch this. I mean, this is so good." You know, and then they start watching it, and it's like, yeah, now you got new followers. And that's what we're trying to do here too. You know, we're going to grow this podcast, and that's my goal. I'm not here to keep it at 12 viewers. I want to grow this thing, and I want it to be 112 viewers at a time, a day. So,
I know you guys like to keep this to right around an hour, but God damn it, I know we've got more questions. Let's.
No, we're gonna go.
No, we do. No, if you're,
we're gonna go longer. No,
if you're okay with it, Toby.
Normally we go an hour or so, but you know what? I don't care today.
Hey, we can take questions from these folks that are listening too.
Yeah.
So
God, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You know, something bad is about to happen. Hold on.
I know all of them. I know all of these names.
Brian, one of the other reasons why I like Toby is a couple of years ago I had I put out a thing on TikTok for my grandfather for his 95th birthday, and he was one of the first ones to, you know, congratulate him, tell him that he was proud, you know, that he was a military World War II vet and stuff like that.
I remember you telling me about that.
That was one of my highest ones yet. Yeah. And you know, and unfortunately my grandfather didn't make it to, you know, 96. He passed away a month before he turned 96. But he loved that video. he loved watching all these people, salute him and all that, and it was just awesome. And then there was one other video that got me that Toby did, and it was about a girl was crying because of her hairstyle. People didn't like it, and he told her flat out, "Don't don't give a fuck what anybody says." Basically, they're just jealous, basically, of what they see. And
Of course.
he was showing pictures of his wife and saying she's had all different types of hairstyles and stuff like that. And it just shows you what type of person he is. He's not one to just sit there and
The thing I try to the message I try to pass on to people the most is these are just strangers on the internet. They're never going to meet you. They have no influence on your personal life. They have no direct contact with you. So, when you look at a comment that's put on one of your videos, or even if somebody makes a video about you, who gives a fuck? So the thing is somebody's opinion only matters if you respect that person, right? You have to respect the person to respect their opinion. And if you don't respect somebody enough that you'd ask them for their advice, then you don't have to respect their criticism of you either. Let them fucking have their opinion. Great. Congratulations. You have an opinion. It only matters to you and whoever else is wanting to listen to you. But it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't affect me. And I'm not going to let it change the way that I think about myself. And I think if more people felt that way, instead of looking at these criticisms, because really what people do is they try to attack something that is going to be a soft target, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be something that you can't change about yourself, whether it be your height or, your nose, or maybe you've got a deformity or something like that. But people are always looking to try to take the low blow, and because they know that it's something that you've probably struggled with your whole life, and they think it's going to affect you. And unfortunately for a lot of people, it does, because they don't have that self-confidence that they need to just say, you know what, who the fuck are you? Why do I care?
Yeah, that's, online bullying is absolute trash. If you're willing to do that, then you deserve to get your ass kicked in real life, because you're hiding behind something, stop telling people.
One of the other things too is we give people this power. We give them the power. One, by calling them something that they want to be called by. We call them cyber bullies, or we call them online bullies, or we call them bullies in general. Listen, if you're on the internet, if you and I were never to meet, Brian, and all you ever did was harass the shit out of me in my comment sections online. Okay. First of all, nice thing about social media is there's a block button for every fucking thing. Great. Yes. Keep making accounts. I'll keep blocking them. I don't give a fuck. But the other thing is you're not bullying me. You have to be able to be in my physical presence by definition to be bullied. It's cyber harassment. You're being harassed by somebody online, but you're allowing yourself to be harassed online. You're allowing it by not blocking these people, by not blocking them out, by not just deleting their comments and moving the fuck on. You're opening it up. And the people that drive me the craziest are the ones that make video responses to these fucking comments, or stitch or duet somebody that's making a hateful video about somebody else. Dude, let them say what they want. Who gives a shit?
That's what we got freedom of speech for. But
like the number of people that the only reason Vegan Teacher got fucking famous and blew up to 2 million followers on TikTok was because she's fucking insane, and people felt the need to expose her and show people who this is. And now it's a train wreck, right? It's a car wreck. Everybody wants to see the car wreck. Well, I don't want to miss her next crazy post, so I'm going to follow her. And she blows up, and that causes all of her stuff to go out and get exposure. If this woman was part of the creator marketplace, or the creator payment program, by people, even by engaging on her videos and telling her how crazy she is, and stitching and duetting her videos and sending them to people saying, look at how fucking insane this lady is, you are making that woman money hand over fist. How do you get somebody like her to go away? You fucking ignore it. You go, oh, she's insane. Swipe.
Pass. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Press in, block, don't show me this content anymore. But we create our own problems, and then we cry about the problems that have been created by us.
I will always figure out a way around my problems. So, I mean, if I've created the problem, if it's a post or something that I did, I'm gonna look for a way to take it down, or I'm gonna look for a way to block whatever's coming in. You know, you
Yeah.
see that a lot on, you post something for sale on, I don't know if you have, but I posted something on sale on Marketplace. Get rid of my motorcycle. Here's the deal. It doesn't run. I bought a fuel pump for it. This is what we got to do. Blah, blah, blah. I had a guy absolutely insane blow my stuff up. And to a point where I was just like, oh, you know what? I'm taking it down. I'm just going to go ahead and fix it and ride it myself. Like 2 days later, hey, I see you still got the post up. You want to sell it to me? No, go away. Get the hell out of here. I sold it. It's gone. So if that guy's watching,
Yeah, the thing is, trolls only have power as long as you feed them. They only have power as long as you give them power, and if you give them the exposure that they're looking for, they've already won. Yeah. By giving a reaction, they've already won. That's all that they want. They just want your reaction. Block them. Move the fuck on. That's how you kill a troll. You don't feed it.
Yeah, if you're getting negative comments in your feed and stuff like that, I guarantee you it's not anything that you're going to sit there and go, you know what? Let me go online real quick and go ahead and address this. I don't think that you or Angela would do that. Or I'm sorry, Angel. I'm so sorry.
We've done it a couple of, I think we've done it just a few times in the past, but it wasn't necessarily to trolls. It's like we get tired of certain comments, and what we do really is we don't respond to a specific comment. We just get so many of like the same comment that we feel the need to address it, such as we make videos about the animals and everybody thinks it's witty to be like, oh, that's good looking dinner. You know what I mean? But those are our pets.
I saw that too. And I was like,
that was one of the questions that was one of the things we weren't going to say to you was, are you going to eat your animals? Because I can't, to be quite honestly,
we're not going to do it.
I joke with my kids about the chickens and stuff like that and say, okay, you raise them, we're going to eat them for dinner. Now, if I have to raise the damn thing, I can't eat it. Yeah. Because for one, I have a wife and 3 kids that won't let me. 2, I fed it, I've nurtured it, I've done everything. No, I just can't. Especially once they give it a name, just
I mean,
like
don't get me wrong. If we really wanted to buy chickens and raise them for meat, we probably would keep getting the same type of chickens, and we'd be trying to get more roosters. Because roosters are going to be larger. They're going to have better meat. They're going to have more meat on them. Like we've got 3 Brahmas right now that we need to sell the Brahma roosters because they're just out of fucking control. But I know whoever buys them is not buying those things for breeding purposes. I just tell them, look, I don't care what the fuck you're getting them for. Just don't tell me about it.
Yeah, just please don't tell me. Yeah.
Just take the damn roosters. My wife's named them. Just don't tell me what you're doing with them because I'm going to feel bad. Not because I give a shit, but because she's gonna feel bad. You're gonna make me get secondhand feel badness.
I was gonna say you're gonna feel bad too because that was your kid basically. That was one of your you raised that thing.
I'm not gonna.
Come on,
those roosters, bro.
Listen, I was the same way.
Listen,
we were the same way. I had our very first rooster was a foghorn. And he had those giant fucking spikes on the back.
Is that the reason why my rooster's so fucking big?
Oh yeah. That's
my rooster.
You got a foghorn.
I got a big ass rooster, and I mean, it's just we only have one now because we had 2, 3 of them in the pen, and we're like, no, there's not enough here for them, so we got rid of them, and then we had to get rid of a duck because it was trying to mate with the damn hens.
That could have been interesting. I'd have liked to see how that turned out.
Yeah, just let it. Ducks are rapists. Ducks are serial rapists. I'm telling you right now, they'll fuck everything and anything. I've got a duck right now that tries to have sex with a goose, the chickens, and one of the turkeys. Like I'm like,
it wouldn't
have your fun, bro. Get your rocks off.
Yeah.
Nothing's.
It wouldn't have been so bad. Yeah. It wouldn't have been so bad, but he was going after their necks, and it was making them really raw and stuff, and making them look nasty. So it said it was time for him to go.
We've had 2 of our hens have had to wear jackets. They've got little jacket capes that have little shoulder protectors on them so that they can't get pecked off. It's bad. It can get bad.
I didn't even think of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't have spent money.
Toby, if you can go back and tell your 18-year-old self. Give your 18-year-old self any advice. What advice would you give your 18-year-old self? don't go on TikTok or.
No. It'd be financial advice. It'd be advice that I wish that I would have gotten, that I made sure to give my son before he started his first job. Okay. And what I would have told myself is, no matter what job you've got for the rest of your life, any job that you ever get, take 25% of your paycheck and throw it into a Roth IRA forever, from now until the time you decide to stop working. If I would have done that when I first started the military, and I would have taken 25% of my paycheck and I would have thrown it into an IRA or a 401k of some sort, one, you would have been doing it so long, you would have never realized that money's gone, especially if it's an automatic deduction from your paycheck. So, right. And everybody's got the opportunity to do that. Two, every time you get a pay raise, you're still going to see a raise in pay. You're still going to see a raise in pay. Yep. It's not going to be what you would be making if you weren't taking 25% out every check. So for the rest of your life, you're going to be used to, first of all, you're going to be used to living on less money. You're going to be saving up exponential amounts of money throughout your entire life, and you're never going to notice that it's gone. So if I would have done that, by the time I retired from the military, we totaled it up. I sat down with a friend of mine who's actually a banker, and he's like, well, let's figure it out. And we literally went and looked at every pay scale from when I started 1994 in the military. And then every time I got promoted, what I would have been earning monthly. And we kept going. And he goes, all right, so had you have done this, 25% of every paycheck, and just put it into a standard, we'll say a standard growth rate 401k, and we'll say that the growth rate is averaging this, between now and then, it's going to be less. The average is going to be less than what you'd be making now, but it's going to be higher than it would when you first started. He goes, you would have had approximately $3.7 million in 20 years. 20
Holy
years,
shit.
$3.7 million by saving 25% of
I had that same, we actually had that same conversation when I was getting out of the military. Like, how much did you save? What do you mean? Yep. Yeah, if you would have taken 25%, and at the time I was a smoker. And, we looked at that too. Like, hey, if you quit smoking now, this is how much you would save a year.
Yeah.
I just recently quit smoking. So I'm going to tell you, man, I feel good. I'm okay with you smoking. I don't care that you smoke. I don't care that anybody smokes. Myself, personally, I found it as a life-changing achievement because, honestly, I smoked through high school. Right, Mark? I played football.
Yeah.
And I was a smoker. I was retarded. I don't know what I was thinking.
I was like, how?
Supposedly with swimming, it opens up your lungs somehow. I don't know. I give up. I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. So, but anyway.
I gave that advice to my son, and he's followed that to the T since he was 16. He's now 21. So
he's going to be a millionaire very soon. Another, what has he got? Another 16 years?
Yeah, well, not at the pay rate that he's making right now, but yeah. He'll
don't worry, there's raises that are going to come. He might
by the time that boy's retired, he's going to have more than enough to pass along to the family, and the Duskin family tree will be well taken care of for plenty of years.
Gotcha. I had another question that one of the guys from my job asked me to ask you. They watched you and your wife on TikTok. They wanted to know, what's one of your biggest pet peeves with one another? One of yours versus one of hers, kind of thing.
My biggest pet peeve with her?
Yeah. And then her biggest with you.
Her.
I mean, you got hit with a frying pan right in the face.
I'm sure the list of her pet peeves towards me are far greater than the ones that I have of her. I'm going to say, good God. You know what? I'm not going to lie to you. She's just fucking messy. She's messy. I'm what you would call disorganized chaos or like organized chaos, because I've got severe ADHD. Like it's bad. But so I look like everything's always cluttered. No matter where I've been, it's cluttered. And the reason why it is because I work in a mindset of, as long as I see it, I'll always know where it is. So everything's cluttered because everything's spread out and it's just everywhere.
You know where it's at, though.
yeah, I don't store stuff in bins and stuff like that. She's just messy. This woman is messy. Like you always hear about women complaining that their husbands just drop their clothes on the floor and this and that.
Right where you stand.
I don't even want to start with the sink in the bathroom. Okay, so we're not going to start with that. But clothes all over the floor, hanging off the end of the bed. I can't go a day with going through the living room without finding like 3 or 4 pairs of her socks just laying around. Like that's about the only pet peeve I have with her. Like that's really about it. But it's enough for me to just go.
So you get to twitch.
Yeah, it's enough for me to twitch.
All right, so you got to vent yours. And she's gonna watch this back, and she's gonna see that. So before you get hit with another frying pan, what do you think hers is?
I'm sure one of her pet peeves is like I really am kind of I'm extremely competitive, but I'm also somewhat of a perfectionist. So on the daily, I'm correcting this woman for the dumbest shit that doesn't need, we're like, well, well, actually, like I know it annoys the shit out of her. I like to pick on her. I like to joke and tease her. A lot of people say, how do you come up with some of the stuff that you come up with? Some of it's from memes, you know what I mean? Some of it's from maybe seeing somebody else, but believe it or not, a lot of them are from genuine conversations where I'll say something and she goes, get the camera. I'm like, excuse me? She's like, get the camera. I'm going to hit you with a fucking pan, or I'm going to throw something at you. I'm like, ooh, get the fan.
Get the shoe.
Yeah. And that's how she can get her frustration out for saying some stupid shit. Cause I've got a cookie sheet that is so dented.
Oh my God.
And she's like, I got to replace, we got to throw this out. I'm like, we are not throwing that out because that's worn in now. And I'd prefer you hit me with that shit than a brand new one. So we have a dedicated cookie sheet that I think I've been hit with in like 3 or 4 videos. But I've been hit in the face with a box fan. I've been hit in the face with a standing oscillating fan. My most popular video is on They Call Me Toby 2. And I got hit in the back with a vacuum cleaner. That was on the 5th take. So I got hit with that vacuum cleaner 4 more times before that.
Hard pass.
Yeah. So, but I do it because 1, we both really enjoy it. But 2, a lot of times I know it's because I'm like, I'll have said it, or I'll be laughing so hard just thinking about it. She's like, you would say this. I'm like, yeah, I'd fucking say this for real. Like,
well, we're an hour and 20 minutes into it almost. Is there anything that you want to talk about before we ask any other questions?
Shit, I think I've been talking.
Hey,
well, that was the object.
We appreciate it. This is your show. We're just here to ask random questions. We're over here talking shit with you, man, and we appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
We absolutely.
Well, Lillette will tell you right there. Okay, so I'm sure you guys can see the comment. Toby's a grumpy.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing is, I try to be, the one thing I can't stand is fake people, right? Like I don't understand the people that are on social media, acting one way, and then if you meet them in person, they're a completely different type of personality. I don't believe in pandering to an audience. The audience that you don't need to pander if you're being genuine, because the people that you're going to want to surround yourself with, the people that you want to, be associated with, they're going to gravitate to you based on who you are as a person. So if you're being fake, or you're being like super smiley, or you're being a certain way, people are going to come over to you and you're going to get a bunch of people that you don't really associate with if that's not who you are. But I'm a grumpy son of a bitch. I'm your standard grumpy old vet, but at the same time, I like to have a good time. I'm a very compassionate person. I'm a very understanding person. But at the same time, I don't fuck around. I don't take anybody's shit. I tell it like it is. I don't hold back. I'm very sarcastic. And I think I get the right people. But I like helping people in the fact of like trying to get people together. And I think TikTok is a haven for people that feel alone, people that feel like maybe left out in society, or in social groups and in social norms. I find that there's a lot of individuals on TikTok that feel like they don't belong somewhere else. And it's really cool to kind of just be myself and see those people tell me, it's nice to feel like I'm part of something. And I'm not telling these people to come and be part of this. They just feel part of it because they feel like they can associate and they can belong. And I think it's important to have that connection with people. So yeah, I mean, that's what she means. She's a grump, but he's our grump. Yeah. I could be an asshole to anybody. I'm everybody's little brother, right? I'll talk shit and they'll talk shit to me. But if somebody from outside of the group says something, it doesn't matter if I tell everybody, hey, everybody, just ignore that person. Who gives a shit about them? It's too late. It's too late. There's 500 videos being made by 500 people, and there's a new hashtag, and just like everybody's attacking this person. I'm like, stop. That's not who we are. We don't do that. We just, shit, it's too late. And now it's a thing.
There's a bus and it's coming.
Yeah.
Ask him about fishing. Grimlock says, ask him about fishing.
I love going fishing. So, born and raised in Minnesota, of course, I love fishing. We
ice fishing.
Not a huge fan of ice fishing. Don't mind hanging out in Grandpa's ice shack with him, having a couple of beers behind Dad's back, and watching the hockey game while listening to some music and just letting the lines sit down there. But I've got a pond that's right next to my house. Cool. When I need a stress-free day, I'll pick up the poles and I'll walk over to the pond and I'll be out there all day. Let's get a little bass pond.
Nice.
Mark, I have to step out for just 1 minute. I
have to step out?
I'll be right back.
Oh, did your bladder get to you?
Yeah.
So, Mark, what other questions you got for me?
Oh, hell. I was sitting there. I'm trying to think of questions. I'm like, no, I mean, you've answered a lot of the questions. I mean, one of the things I was going to ask you is what made you decide to go on TikTok and YouTube?
So I was looking for an outlet, really. One, I just like to, I like to be creative. But I was having a particularly difficult time. That was in the fall. The fall is always a rough time for me. That's where I lost the majority of the guys that I served with in conflict. Was around the fall time, so it can be pretty dark, and I like to look for distractions. And I saw TikTok kept popping up on my Facebook. Couldn't avoid it. And originally it was just girls like doing these underage girls doing dances and like skimpy outfits. And I'm like, I don't need to see this shit. But then one day I saw somebody, they had an ad on their TikTok that wasn't that. And it was somebody actually doing they were essentially lip syncing to a Family Guy sketch. And I was like, wait a minute, you can do that? And I was like, well, let me go check it out. And I did a couple and I just absolutely loved it. I pulled myself out of my headspace and got creative and just kind of, and then once I realized you could go live, I went live with a couple of people. I had some people that I'm still friends with to this day. Shortly after I started, they came down and visited. Zombie Dave, Grimwolf, and he used to go by the name The Riddler, but now he goes by Good Grief George. Those are all really good friends of mine as well on TikTok that I've known since 2018. Very close to me. If they ever need anything, they know all they got to do is ask. And it just it developed like that. As far as YouTube goes, I'm mainly on YouTube because I am on a podcast with other people, but my wife and I really like doing these video games and stuff. Unfortunately, for like the last 5 months, we kind of had to put a halt on our YouTube uploading because life got busy. Because I'm also an actor. Don't get excited. It's for like really low B-rated movies. But
we know a guy.
Yeah. Between filming movies and trying to do TikTok and doing the podcast and then my everyday life and now work, and then trying to sit down against my wife's schedule and try to get us both together at the same time for a long enough period of time that we could either watch a movie, or have her play a video game so that we can record it, and then editing it and everything else. Just I found myself getting in over my head and not having any time to just myself. So I was like, something has to give. If it's got to be one of my channels, fine. But I've got commitments to friends. I've got Beard Laws on TikTok. That's the podcast that I'm on every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm with my really good friend Matt. Goes by the name of Beard Laws on TikTok. That's his YouTube channel. Here is Beard Laws. So every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm on a podcast with him, and I promised him I've made, I've let him know he can rely on me. So that I'm never going to pull away from that. The two things that I pull away from will always be the same two things: TikTok and YouTube. I'll completely disappear from those two fucking things before anything else. I lived an entire life without them. I can just as easily walk away. It's not difficult to me. But if I got to sacrifice something so that my mental health or my wife's mental health or, my relationship can get stronger with my wife and spend more quality time with her and my son, I'd rather do that than worry about who hasn't seen one of my videos and for however long.
Okay. And that's how I first started off playing on Xbox, and I made some great friends on there that I'm still friends to today, because I used to play Friday the 13th. That's what got me out of my funk, because a few years before that, I had a hip replacement, and I just went into a big funk, and I did stupid things, and I just went down a dark hole. So I started going on Xbox, and I found Friday the 13th, bought the game, waited for it to come out, of course, and then I met a few good friends, and it was like after that it was okay, let's do a podcast. And we started doing a podcast, and then I was like, oh, I want to do my own with and then Brian calls me up and says, so you want to do a podcast with me? Sure.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that social media has done to me. Social media has aged the shit out of me. So when I first started on TikTok, I had solid black hair. I am going to show you that is no longer the case.
Is that the silver
no
fox
gray
coming
in my
out?
beard. I had no gray in my beard or my hair, and now it's like solid gray. This is actually, believe it or not, and you guys will love this. Believe it or not, this is half and half. You see that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Half and half. So one half of my head turned gray just from being on TikTok.
Thanks, TikTok.
Yeah, thanks a lot, TikTok.
Thanks a lot.
One half
TikTok.
of my head is gray. I got gray all up in my beard now. Like, it's getting to the point where it's growing. The gray is growing in so fast. I got to make sure that the director that I work with understands that we got to do everything in one shoot, because I can't come back 3 months later and it not be noticeable.
You said you're doing movies now. What kind of movies are you doing?
B-rated horror movies for the most part. So I've been in one where actually one of my TikTok, I used to do cosplay quite a bit on TikTok as well. I had a character by the name of Psychotic. He's got his face painted up like a skull, and he's pretty much a badass. He was a demon. He is actually the co-star of a movie. It's called The World of Spade versus Psychotic. That's available on Amazon Prime. And then there's another one called The Fright Before Christmas. I just play a drunk guy in that one. It's just fun. Fake vomit. So much fake vomit. Fucking so much fake vomit.
That's Fright Before Christmas.
Fright Before Christmas, yeah. And then let's see here. I was in a trailer for Manos. I'm in another series that's called ELE, or it's Extinction Level Event. Most of the stuff I've been in that we filmed, it hasn't even been released. It's been in production. It's either been in production or post-production for 4 years. The majority of the stuff that I've done. Like,
so it's in hell.
Yeah, we're still waiting for things to get released, finalized, editing, or there's always something. but there's about 4 or 5 that have been in, and then there's about another 4 or 5 that I'm scheduled to be in, as well as one where Angel and I are the stars. And it's going to be, that's not horror. I mean, I guess it's kind of horror, but it's more of what you would call a suspense thriller.
Okay.
Where
what's that one? What's that one called so that we can?
That one's going to be called Breathless. And I essentially just keep killing Angel throughout the entire movie. I kill her, clone her, kill her, clone her, kill her, clone her.
Oh, so a dream for most married people.
Yeah.
Stop it,
killing. Oh, come on. It is, you know.
I mean, he's not wrong.
She gets to come back to life.
Release dates will be in 3 to 5 business years, as little as
business years. Yeah, so we actually just 20 never. We actually just had an interview with a gentleman named Peter Anthony, who has done a couple of fan films for a little movie called Friday the 13th. So if you get a chance to check that out,
yeah, he's got
Roseblood.
You got Roseblood. You got Fall of Camp Blood. You have Vengeance 1 and 2. And then he's got some more. He's got a bunch more that's still being released and stuff. And
he's got a new one. He's got a new one that he let us know about. He told everybody on the podcast, so we'll go ahead and shout that one out again.
Yeah,
Laugh.
It's called Laugh. But
that's
still,
the one that we're currently filming right now is called Night of the Blue Moon. So the director that I work with, his name is John Johnson. He directed the remake of what is considered the worst movie of all time, Plan 9.
Which, I don't know it.
Really old movie. Plan 9 from Outer Space was the name of the original one. He remade it and just called it Plan 9. And that's like one of his biggest, that's probably his biggest movie.
I might have to check that out anyways.
Night of the Blue Moon?
Mm-hmm. With
Night
a K.
Of the Blue Moon. Okay.
Yeah. I've got my IMDb is on the links in my bio, and you can see it. It's listed in there. He should have it listed in there.
Okay, very good. Cool. That was going to be if we're ready to end, and I don't know about you guys, how you feel about that. Unfortunately, some things got to come to an end. I'd absolutely love to have you come back, though, Toby, so we can get some more questions answered.
Sure.
You have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to ask. But in the meantime, where can our viewers, our listeners, where can they find you, your social media? Go ahead and give yourself your tags.
Okay, so your best bet is to find me on the Beard Laws channel on YouTube. That's every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. That is our podcast. We have what's called a TikTok Tuesday podcast, and then we have the Thursday podcast. Thursday podcast is more viewer-oriented, viewer interactive. We do drafts one week, and then we do a bracket challenge where the viewers all vote on the bracket. We have our own YouTube channel. If you just type in Toby's Army, no apostrophe or anything like that, that's on YouTube. We've got quite a few videos up there. And then on social media, as far as like TikTok goes, They Call Me Toby 2 and Toby N Angel, just the letter N in between Toby and Angel.
All right. Very good. Is there anything else that you want to bring up before we let you go, my friend?
No, I had a great time.
You want to talk about? Hey, we appreciate you coming on.
No doubt.
Yeah,
I think we would really enjoy you coming back. We've got some more guests planned here in March. We hope that you get a chance. If you're not busy, even if you're busy, just log on to YouTube real quick. Just give us the hey, I'm watching, and then go away if you want to. That's fine.
I mean, hell, man, if my schedule will allow it, I mean, I can come back here once a month.
Dude,
sweet.
That'd be awesome, man.
That would be awesome. We'll have to.
We will absolutely, and we will absolutely get with you ahead of time, way ahead of time. You know, and not for nothing, we do want to see Angel. We would like to have her come on at least once.
I will do my best. Like, you guys missed her by one day. If we would have done this tomorrow or the day after, boom, you got her. She works 4 days on, 2 days off, 4 days on, 2 days off. So her day actually constantly rotates as to what days she's got off.
Right on. And Toby, I just wanted to thank you again, man, for being such a stormtrooper for these folks that are, getting the backlash from TikTok and stuff like that, man. I really appreciate what you do. And I hope that everybody else gets a chance to see what you're doing, and TikTok will stop fucking banning this man and let him do his fucking thing already. Jesus Christ.
I think they're having too much fun, but
They can take down as many accounts as they want, but if I feel like creating, I'll just make another one and keep going.
Absolutely. Mark, do you got anything for him?
no. I think he's he definitely hit all my questions, answered them all,
I do that.
plus more.
And then some. Toby, thank you again, sir. We do appreciate you, and we hope to have you back very soon.
No problem. Don't forget, hit me up on Instagram, and I'll give you some tips and pointers for.
Yes, on these cameras that we have over here.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
Will do.
Will do. Thank you, sir.
Toby.
All right.
Good
Later.
night.
Good night.
Guys,
Well, that was
cool.
Toby. Oh man, yeah, that was awesome.
That was a longer show than what you guys are used to, but he's got a lot to talk about, and we've got a lot, to ask, and there wasn't enough time in this one episode with him, and I really do hope that we get him back, Mark.
Oh, we will. I promise you that one. We will have him back.
As long as he's in on it, and I'm gonna make sure that we get to go check out Beard Laws, his podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let's check that out. And if you're not following Toby,
I'm gonna go follow
and Angel,
that one.
make sure that we're following Toby and Angel. And I swear to God, if I said Angela, I am so sorry. I've done that 37 times already, guys. I am really bad at this. This is what happens.
And you
when
were
get
worried
old.
about me saying it that way.
Toby and Angel. So it's TOBYNANGEL. Toby and Angel on TikTok. They call me Toby2 on TikTok and Toby's Army. Let's make sure everybody gets a chance to check that out. So I'm reading some questions real quick.
She wasn't here. Yeah, I'm used to being the one saying the messed up stuff. This time you got it.
Yeah, I am really sorry about that. So make sure she doesn't throw a frying pan at me or hit me with a fan or anything to that extent. So,
well, Toby's there. He could just take it for you.
Yeah, please do. All right, guys, listen, if you have not been over to
hold up.
Edition,
wait a minute. Wait, hold up. Before you do your spill, you got one thing to say. It's to Peter.
Peter, if you are watching or if you get a chance to watch this, thank you very much from my wife, who has now created her list of 10 things. She will get up in the morning, write her list, cross those things off that she does, and continue on her journey that way. So yes, Peter, I wanted to reach out to you and thank you for that. And I will shoot you a message to let you know that that's what she's doing now. I haven't started yet. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a lazy bum, but at the end of the day,
my wife would be amazed if I did anything like that. I'm not going to start now.
Hey, you want to start a list together?
Yeah, no.
Listen, it works. It works for people.
Yeah, okay, fine. If we started a list, one of the things my wife would tell me to put on it: go to the gym and lose weight.
All right.
Same thing the doctors tell me. But anyways, we got to wrap this up.
All right, we're wrapping this up, guys. But listen, like I was going to say earlier, get over to the Deluxe Edition Network this month. Podcast of the month are Spoil My Movie and World's True Crime. You can find those two podcasts as well as several others like Talking Shit with your boy Mark and me, Brian. We're going to bid you adieu.
You guys have a good night. And it's not goodbye. It's see you Wednesday.
We'll see you Wednesday with
who
Andrew. We're going to have Andrew Jasic also from TikTok, and a friend of mine from California. So please, guys, tune in for Andrew.
It's another a military vet.
Yep.
We're going to have on, and I'm very happy to have this one because he's not only just a military vet. He served with Brian also. He's also I don't know if he still wrestles or not, but he's a former wrestler, and he also does some funny shit on TikTok, and we'll get into that one on Wednesday.
Guys, we'll see you on Wednesday.
Have a good night.